Is it Larry Harvey? Yeah. Larry Harvey and his wife, Carlda of Loomis. Did I get that right? Okay. And by 4 sisters, Phyllis Keck and her husband Lee of Bakersfield, Carolyn Creek and her husband Gary of Bakersfield, Linda Harvey of Texas, and Barbara Bishop of Bakersfield. We're not done yet. This is quite a clan. Before we're done, everyone's name's going to get mentioned. 9 grandchildren. Larry Harvey Jr. of Livermore, Don Harvey of Oakley, Richard Milliken of Pleasant Hill, and Robert Milliken also of Pleasant Hill. Michael Harvey and his wife Kristen of Pittsburgh, California. Paul Harvey of Santa Rosa. Randy Milliken and his wife Nicole of Pinole. Ronnie Goodyear of Knights End. And Lena Head and her husband Scott, also of Knights End. And then 7 great-grandchildren. 8 great-grandchildren.
Trevor Harvey, too.
Trevor Harvey.
You're sitting in the back.
Haley Harvey and Trevor Harvey, and Micaiah Milliken. Just speak up if I miss you. Ashley Head and Austin Head and Brianna Head and Dustin Harvey and Riley Harvey. And got them all. That's 8. And of course, he's been preceded in death by his wife of 39 years, Betty Harvey. Well, at this time I'm going to take a rest, and I'm going to see if anyone would like to share any thoughts or memories or brief comments about Don. And the longer you talk, the shorter I'm going to talk a little later. So just a little hint, that's kind of the way these things work. So I'm just going to see if anyone wants to say something. Oh, thank you. So I'll drink now.
Don't be shy.
Don't get up there, Barry.
Start us off.
Yeah, okay. Give me a minute. While I'm waiting, while I'm thinking, someone else got a story or something, come on. This is your time.
I'd like to say something about my Uncle Donald.
Please.
I'm Michael Bishop, Barbara's son. And my Uncle Donald was a strong man, very caring. He loved all of us kids very much. He cared about every one of us. And sometimes he was ornery, but he was very loving. And I have a lot of good memories of him being around and being in our lives. And I truly miss him very much. And I regret that I didn't get enough time with him when he was here. And I'm truly sorry for his thoughts. And all of us. But I love him. And I will never forget him.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to.
Please.
My name's Michael Harvey. I'm Donald's grandson, Larry Harvey's middle child. People that know Grandpa, he was kind of a hard ass, but he really was. The best time I had with him was I spent a week with him and Grandma before she passed along, and I did a lot of work with them, and got to see the softer side of Grandpa. And it was a side that people didn't get to see. But he really cared for everybody. But just had to. It was few and far between. It wasn't enough. We didn't get to see it enough. But something I'll hold on to for the rest of my life.
of course, you don't have to feel pressured. You're ready to go.
I feel pressure.
I won't.
I'm Jim Golson. I'm Larry's son-in-law. It's much regret. It's much regret that I didn't meet Don. He has a wonderful family. I look around here and I see a lot of beautiful people. And what I know is that he instilled his morals and his values in his family because I see him in Larry. And I know he had to be a beautiful person. And I just want to say that I regret not meeting him, but you loved him a lot. So.
Well, I am assuming that Barry's going to feed you while you're here, which means you could actually share some thoughts in a more informal way if you don't feel comfortable in this venue. So unless you're about ready to stand up, I'm going to take over here. Anyone really eager to say something? Waiting for your opening? Okay. I'm a water boy.
That's some high quality H2O.
Well, I didn't know Don either, and yet just talking to Donna, here some of the comments that those of you that have shared have made, I think it's really clear to me that as Don is pastoring your lives, that you've been reminded of what I think is the greatest truth in life, which is that our lives are really about relationships. That it really doesn't matter how long we get to live, if it's just a marking of how many days and weeks and months and years we pass by before we leave this world. How long we live is not so important as how well we live in the time we get. The things we accomplish are important to us. We like to feel like our lives have made a difference. But most people, as they're realizing their time is short, don't have a lot to say about what they've accomplished. They're talking about the people that they've experienced and shared their lives with. And we all kind of get caught up with stuff, just the possessions of life, the stuff that kind of makes life interesting and fun and impressive. And I don't really hear people saying too much about how much stuff they've accumulated as their lives are coming to an end. Not very important when you kind of put it into perspective, but it's the people that are important. It's the quality of relationships that we share with the people God's put us with that really are the place that we find the meaning and satisfaction in life. And how well we've lived in these relationships is the true measure of how well we have accomplished what the purpose of our lives is, which is to love one another as God has loved us. I'm sure you're familiar with perhaps the most well-known chapter in the Bible, the 23rd Psalm. And I'm sure that you've been at some previous services where you've heard the 23rd Psalm used as the text of what is shared in terms of some spiritual encouragement. And that isn't because it's simply a popular passage or because it's kind of an easy passage to speak from. The reason I think it's used in a time such as this, where people are really dealing with what is most important in our lives, is that I think it speaks so powerfully to us about what is at the center of what our lives are really about. The Bible has the metaphor, the illustration of our human lives as in many places, as a journey. And a journey is different than playing golf. We kind of got into the golf theme today. Golf is you start at the clubhouse, you go out and you walk around the golf course and you whack the ball around for a while, and then you get back to where you started and you go home. Good exercise, good fun, enjoyable day. But you haven't gotten anywhere. You've just had a good time, hopefully, or you had a frustrated time, or whatever, however you experienced it. But a journey, you start in one place and you end somewhere else. And our lives are not a golf game where you just kind of start and see how much fun you can have before you get back to the clubhouse and you got to check out. Our lives are a journey that we start somewhere and we're supposed to end up somewhere else. At least that's the way the Bible tells the story.